154 cm. It's a nice improvement over 440C. I've got a couple street scalpels I'm gonna cut out. These ones I'm actually going to do that dimpled texture with the needle scaler. I get a lot of questions about my portable bandsaw, what blades I use. I get like 5 emails a week at least. 14 TPI blades, and I use the Milwaukee brand blades. They work for me, I use them for everything. The only bummer is a lot of stainless steels do not cut well, and that's just because they work harden so quickly. Like when you're cutting through with your blades, it heats up and boom, it hardens that steel very, very fast, and that blade is done. Like you're just gonna chew away the teeth, round them off. This has to be cut outside. I use my angle grinder for that. I'm gonna do it a little later on because we're in the middle of a cold snap right now, and my father-in-law said that this is the longest stretch of cold weather that we've had in over 40 years. Today's not too bad. I think we're supposed to get up to minus 18 Celsius. And so maybe a little later on in the afternoon, I'm gonna go outside, gear up, and I've got a whole bunch of stainless blades I'm gonna cut out, and I'll do that once it's a little bit warmer. My goal is to get about 8 blades cut out today, and then 8 blades profiled today, and then we can kind of pick and choose which ones we wanna finish from there. But one thing we're gonna do more work on is this super duper one that has just been sitting here waiting around. I had some really, really great feedback from you guys, and so I'm actually going to do this differently than I normally do. Once I try a few of these, I might do just like a tutorial video on how to do those wah style handles. See, I'm in a very lucky position having a YouTube channel so that when I ask a question or if I mention something like, oh, I don't know how to do this, I get an incredible feedback from you guys, and I feel it's kind of my responsibility to share it again, kind of keep this whole cycle going, learn from each other. The big old snowball, right? The snowball of learning and sharing. Oh, it's wonderful. Get a lot of questions about this, and essentially this is a quick release from a bicycle, like the rear axle of a bicycle. I'm not sure, you know, that type of a thing. So it's a little cam in there, and what I did is I just drilled and tapped this plate. This was actually an old Target I had. I think this is like 1/4 inch. The reason it's round is because that's how the Target was made, and I just used it. I thought, you know, it's kind of nice. It gives you enough work area, but I'm not going to be banging it. You know, kind of keeps sharp corners, sharp edges at bay. You can just slide it off. I think I drilled and filed this out, and then I just cut some slots here so I can put it on and off, and these aren't very nice cuts. I did them right here. Got this little thick, this is a piece of 1/2 inch steel, whatever, it doesn't really matter. I spaced it up with a couple of washers just so, I don't know, I think the threads stop on this thing, and so in order to keep the thread that I needed, yeah, you can see, I'm not sure if you see it, this threads actually stop right there, and so in order to have this still be able to catch some threads, I ended up just using some washers, and then that's all it is, right? So I take this thing, put it on like this, kind of line this up underneath there, like that, and then when I lock this down, it bites, and actually I usually just position it one way or the other, lock it down, and it bites onto there. Make sure you have clearance so your blade's not going to hit it all, and that's literally it. It's not fantastically precise, but it is super handy, and especially the thing I like is if I want to take this whole portable bandsaw, you know, right now it's very rigid, it's locked in there, but if I want to take it outside and say cut up some large scrap or for some other type of project, I can just take this off, and this isn't bolted in any way. See, I've got the tab right here and a tab right here to keep it from moving this way. And then up here, I've just got a couple of, these are some square tubing. I think this is 1.5 inches. And I just cut these slots in there. And that way this whole thing, I don't know if I can do this one-handed, but it's all free, see? Now I've just got a regular portable bandsaw that hasn't been permanently modified in any way. Slide it back in there, drop it in, boom. I've got it mounted, and it is literally that easy. It's like, you know, it's 10 seconds to go between this setup to having it off, being able to take it outside and chop stuff up. Slowly emptying this place out, but this is actually just what I came for. And when you're using a grinder, definitely put the guards on. I'm showing you a very dangerous way to do it. It's not the right way. I do not recommend doing what I do. You have been warned. All right, just finished up lunch, and this is a very special time. Let me get the toothpick out of my mouth. Special time in Canada. 2 times a year, Tim Hortons has this thing called Roll Up the Rim to Win. Every cup of coffee, my wife picked me up a coffee, she was in town earlier. You can win things like, let's see. You could win, I think about 40 Jeep Compasses, 105,000 prepaid cards, 1,000 bicycles, 50,000 $50 Tim cards, and then a boatload of like free coffees, free donuts, and stuff like that. So we're gonna roll this up right here. You and me. Pro tip, I see a lot of people in Canada like chewing these things. Don't do that. That's gross. There's only one way to roll up a rim, and that is like this. You know, you locate the place where the winning stuff is. You hold the cup like this in your hand, press it in, use your thumbs, boom, roll. See how easy that is? You don't need to chew on stuff. You know, you're chewing on this whole thing here, and then you can go hand it to the lady at the window when you're going through the drive-thru. Like, here's my chewed on cardboard. That's gross. Don't do that. That's how you do it. Anyways, as you can tell, I did not win. I can just play again. Lucky me. Oh, there's still a little coffee in here. What we're gonna do now, I've kind of marked out this little piece of G10. Again, this is gonna be the spacer that's gonna go in there. And we're gonna go cut this out. And then we are going to, my wonderful wife, she went to town, picked me up a dowel. And so I'm going to put a slot down the middle of this dowel. And basically, this is gonna fit into that slot like that. And then this is a 1/2 inch dowel. We're going to bore out a 1/2 inch hole into the handle here. We're gonna drill 1/2 inch through here, 1/2 inch through here. And I'm gonna see how feasible or what it's like doing these traditional style wall handles. Now, one of the reasons why I'm really excited about this is because I've never ever tried this before, and this seems like it could be a much easier way to go about doing stuff. So that's always exciting, you know, when you learn something new and you're excited to try it out. Hopefully it works. I know the way that I was doing it before, when I would literally put a slot in this part, a slot through this part, a slot through this part. Well, that was just an awful lot of work. So I'm hoping that this will make it easier and that it'll be a lot quicker. And if it is, anyways, let's give this a try and see if it works. Okay, so we'll drill it right there. Drill that one right there. We're gonna drill that one right there. And that should give us center of the blocks. All right, so let me show you. We're ready to glue this up, but I'll show you the way that I'm gonna do this. I've got all my parts and pieces, everything's labeled. I went ahead, cleaned up this choil a little bit, and we got this dowel. Now this little piece of G10 came off when I drilled through, because I drilled through this way and I popped it off, but we're just gonna glue that back on. And so here's the dowel. I went ahead and cut a slot in it, and that is for the tang to fit in. So I will be filling this with epoxy, as well as the hole in here. And again, I've got everything labeled, so I know what's front, what's back, and all that stuff. So first thing that goes on will be this top piece here that has a slot in it. Then, I'm actually gonna put this on. And this actually goes up into here. I drilled into the back there just the slightest bit. And just so it can kind of keep that captive. Then we'll put our white spacer. And then these ones, like that. And then this whole issue goes together, filled with epoxy. Boom, just like that. And it's actually a really nice fit as it is. Pretty good for the gap there. I've taken this up to 2000, so it should be nice and shiny, ready. Come on, camera, focus on where I want. There we go. So we've got a nice fit up. And then when I glue this, what I'm gonna have to make sure is this slot is perfectly square with this block. So I'll be setting this block after I fill it with epoxy. I'm gonna set this down on my surface plate, and then I'm going to take a 1, 2, 3 block and set this here so that I can orient this blade correctly, right? And you see you've got a little offset there. Things didn't work out exactly as I'd wanted, but that's gonna be okay because we still have plenty of material. We're gonna be cutting a lot of this away anyways. So next step, we're gonna glue this thing up, and we'll let it dry overnight and then come back tomorrow and we'll shape it. I think it's gonna be a nice little cuchillo. Just watching the hockey game. I'm gluing up this knife. I have the volume turned down, so I hope it doesn't bug you. Oh man, getting like a hydraulic lock up in there. This is not going so well. What I gotta do now is just wipe off all this glue. We'll let her dry. I wanna get all this stuff cleaned up around the bolster because I don't wanna have to pick at it or anything like that and risk scratching this burl. All right guys, we've got this thing glued up. Hopefully tomorrow, if not, it'll be the day after, we're gonna get to squaring up this thing and then we'll start tapering it off, shape the handle out. I'm really excited about that. And I know that traditionally Japanese handles, the wah style handles, they're usually fit and shaped off of the blade, right? Now, I still need to figure out a few things with my process, how I'm gonna do that. There's a couple things that I'm unsure of. I'm gonna put a link in the description below to an Instagram account that I really enjoy. Vachon Knives. He's a knife maker out of Quebec, Canada. And he's been sharing the last several days in his stories how he shapes his handles. And he did a live stream last night, and kind of, you know, I watched it after the fact, but showing like kind of how he just, the final stages of fitting his handles and then how he shapes them. And it's really cool because I'm noticing a lot more of these people on Instagram that used to just share what they made. Now they're starting to share their process and how they make it. So I'm finding that it's just so much fun when we can learn from each other. Noah, thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it. And check out a link to his Instagram account below. Really beautiful knives he makes, and you can learn something there too. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel if you have not done so already. And as always, I thank you so much for watching. Cheers.